Let's see, we'll get started as soon as the Joe comes on with this.
Says Mara, this is Katrina. Did you get your email? I said for the announcements. Did you get them?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Or North, do you have anyone ready for us?
Can anyone hear me for North?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let me log off. I can't hear anyone. Let me log back off. Sorry.
Good morning, Mr. McLean and Ms. Adams. I see that two of the cases today, position 10 and position 17, they're being reset. When would you like those cases reset until?
1 or 2 weeks would be fine, Your Honor. In both cases, bond is completely moot because they have other matters that will definitely hold them at least a couple of weeks.
All right, you tell me, Mr. McLean, 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, 1 week's fine.
Okay, so that would be
Or
the
the 31st, Judge.
31st. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Five North, are we ready to proceed?
Yeah, Judge, we have position 18 Thurman.
And this is going to be an arraignment. Is that right, Ms. Adams? Is this
You
your
said
case?
position 18?
Yes.
Position 18, I believe, is Mr. McLean's case.
Right. Thurman is an arraignment.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Thurman. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down, Mr. Thurman. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004921J with giving false information to law enforcement and obstruction of law enforcement. Each of these charges carries with it a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and or $1,000 fine. Do you waive formal reading of the accusation, Mr. McLean?
We do.
How do you plead, Mr. Thurman? Guilty or not guilty?
Yes.
We'll record your not guilty plea. Your case will be returned to the division judge and you'll get notification of your next hearing date. What's the present bond?
The $1,000 surety on each count, Your Honor.
And thank you. Good morning, Mr. Walker. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll be
Go ahead, Mr.
I was
Walker.
going to ask for pre-trial to read the history before I went.
Okay.
Well, you
Morning.
said this is Thurman, right?
Position 18, yes, Ms. Tyson.
Mr. Thurman, he has 35 arrest cycles beginning in 1995. History within 10 years. He has a misdemeanor conviction out of Fulton County for theft by taking. That was from December 2014. He has another misdemeanor conviction out of Fulton County. Let's see. Marijuana possession less than 1 ounce. That's in 2015. He has a second case, same charge from 2015 also. He has a felon out of Fulton County for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution. Let's see, or sale of marijuana. That was from February of 2016. He has another felony conviction for financial transaction, card theft, and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers from February 2016 as well. We have another felony conviction outside of Fulton County for purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of marijuana. That's from August of 2017. We have another theft by taking and marijuana possession less than 1 ounce from 2016 out of Fulton County. We have a simple battery out of Fulton County, August of 2017. Another theft by taking out of Cobb County, 2018. Theft by shoplifting out of Dunwoody, February 2020. Let's see, 1, 2. We have a given false name, address, or birthday to law enforcement officers in 2018. That's out of Fulton County. We have 4 FTAs and at least 4 violations of probation. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, APD responded to the defendant because he was sitting on the sidewalk drinking a open beer. Upon making contact with the defendant, they asked him his name. He gave the name of Tony Smith. After searching NCIC for that name did not come back as a true identity. Upon searching the defendant, they found an identification card identifying the true defendant's name. After running that name, it came back that he was wanted on a felony probation warrant for robbery. At that time, he was taken into custody. There's $1,000 surety set on each count based upon the defendant's history, based upon him being a flight risk. We are asking that that bond maintain as set. And the felony probation warrant, he is currently being held on that at a no bond status.
Hey, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, he will shortly be before the, we don't know a date, but he will shortly be before his felony judge on that probation revocation matter. We felt this was not right. Our case today, he would like to be in a position to go into that with this open and then explain himself to that judge. This is just a bunch of guys behind a store drinking a beer. We understand what the charges are, and we understand that his record, and he told me 30-something. He was accurate. He's honest with me about how long his record is. It's relatively medium petty, but there are some concerns. We're not trying to gainsay that. He has congestive heart failure for the last 1.5 years. He has colon cancer for the last 1.5 years. And the medical problems make him want to try to win that probation hearing he's going to have with his felony judge in the upcoming week or two. If Your Honor can see its way clear to perhaps a signature bond or lowering the bond to 1,000, that would put him in a position where as soon as that probation matter hopefully goes his way, then he could step back and deal with this in about a month or two.
All right, Mr. McLean, I'm going to convert the good bonds to signature bonds through the jail with all the conditions that are in the present bond. I imagine that there's a stay away and a no drugs, alcohol, weapons.
No ADW. Yes.
And all the other conditions. I need for you to check that other bond and find out what the conditions are.
I'll look that up. I'll make a note, look that up.
Judge, there's just a stay away from 814 York Street, Atlanta, Georgia. No alcohol, no drugs, no weapons or firearms.
Okay, that's what I expected. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Thurman.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. All
You're
right, next up, we have the add-on 3, last name Russell.
There's also an arraignment and bond hearing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Russell. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Mr. Russell, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004839C, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, battery, and giving false information to law enforcement. Each of these charges carries with it a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and/or $1,000 fine. Do you waive formal reading of the accusation, Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead, Mr. Russell? Guilty or not guilty?
Yes.
My understanding that you're going to plead not guilty this morning, Mr. Russell. Ms. Adams?
Yes, Mr. Russell, unless you changed your mind, I thought you wanted to plead not guilty and for me to try to get a lower bond for you. Did you change your mind?
Yeah, I had changed my mind.
Okay, Your Honor. Well, if that's the case, I do have paperwork from Mr. Russell because we did anticipate the possibility of him pleading guilty. So we're ready to change this.
Okay. Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. 1 second. So the state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 40 days, credit for time served 20 days, balance probated with the conditions of an 8-week anger management course, no further contact with the victim, Tyra Hewlett, and to stay away from 2001 Kane Drive in Athens, Alabama. I believe that's the victim's home address.
Also too, I did speak with Ms. Hewlett. She would prefer no violent or harassing contact.
Who is Ms. Hewlett to Mr. Russell?
She was a friend.
Okay. Anything further?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Mr. Russell, it's my understanding in case 23 CR 004839C, you wish to plead guilty to willful obstruction of law enforcement officers, battery, and giving false information to law enforcement. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Yes, I am.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges, and that by pleading guilty to them, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No.
I'll accept the plea as negotiated, Mr. Russell. You'll have no further violent contact with Ms. Hewlett. Once you complete the terms of the probation, it'll go to a non-reporting status. So the sooner you get it done, the sooner you won't have to be reporting to probation. Okay, Mr. Russell?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Position number 4, Daniel.
This is also going to be an arraignment. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Daniel. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Can you raise your right hand for me?
Hmm.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You can put your hand down, Mr. Daniel. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004891E with battery and simple battery. Each of these charges carries with it a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and/or $1,000 fine. Do you waive formal reading of the accusation, Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead, Mr. Daniel? Guilty or not guilty?
I plead guilty.
It's my understanding that you were going to plead not guilty.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. Me and my lawyer had some conversation about a bond situation. I don't know if she wanted to say something about that first.
Okay, so we're gonna address the bond next, Mr. Daniel. So if you want to plead not guilty this morning, I'll address the bond situation. Is that what you want to do?
I'd like to get it over with. I just go ahead.
You're changing your mind? Okay.
Yeah, I plead guilty.
We do have the paperwork, Your Honor.
And you've already spoken with him regarding
Yes.
that, Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And for the record, his name is Daniel Tavares. Tavares is his last name. Daniel is his
Oh,
first.
okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Tavares. They've got it backwards on my calendar here.
Okay.
Let's see. Good morning, Ms. Nimini.
Good morning, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months, 30 days, Credit for time served, 16 days, balance probated, a week of anger management, 40 hours of community service, no further contact with Mr. Anthony Edwards, and to stay away from 60 Lucky Street. For the simple battery, the same thing goes, 12 months, 30 days, credit for time served. The only thing that changes is the no further contact with Mr. Laureen Coleman.
I do have a quick question for Ms. Nemini. The community service hours didn't make it onto the calendar. Can you please repeat how many hours that is?
40 hours.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Tavares?
It's okay with me. It's kind of complicated trying to get around to those hours, but it's okay. I can probably knock it out.
If
Yeah,
it
we
wasn't
talked
on the
about-
calendar, we could take it off if it wasn't on there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Walker. So the only probation requirement will be 8 weeks of anger management. It's my understanding.
Yes.
Anything
Your Honor.
further, Ms. Adams?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Tavares, it's my understanding that in case 23 CR 004891E, you wish to plead guilty to battery and simple battery. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Sir. Yes,
You
sir.
understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges, and that by pleading guilty to them, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty? No,
Sir.
nobody's forced you to plead guilty.
No,
have they?
I'm sorry. No, nobody
Okay.
forced me.
All right, just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
All right.
I'll accept the plea as negotiated, Mr. Tavares. When you complete the 8 weeks of anger management, the probation is going to go to a non-reporting status. So the sooner you get that done, the sooner you don't have to report to probation, okay?
Okay.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Tavares.
All right.
Position number 16, Mr. Salazar.
And this is going to be a negotiated plea.
Yes, Your Honor, this is the follow-up to, this case was actually on a previous calendar. We had him a few days ago under Eberard, which is the correct spelling. This is just a typo. Somebody on a keyboard hit a G instead of an E.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Salazar. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is a state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, Mr. Salazar. Mr. Walker?
Yes, the state's recommendation is going to be time served of 65 days, balance suspended with a stay away from 277 Moreland Avenue, which is a motel.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, it is a suspended sentence, and Mr. Salazar asked the court to accept his negotiated plea while specifying, stipulating to the 3 necessary elements of venue, identification, factual basis.
Mr. Salazar, it's my understanding that in case 23 CR 001594B, you wish to plead guilty to criminal trespass and disorderly conduct. Is that correct? Courtroom 2, you're on mute.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges, and that by pleading guilty to them, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, correct.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No.
Okay, I'll accept the plea as negotiated, Mr. Salazar. Good luck to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, position 10, Jackson.
It's my understanding that position 10 is being reset until next week.
Correct.
So we'll see Mr. Jackson back next week. Who do we have next? Courtroom 2. Anybody with me in courtroom 2?
I apologize, Your Honor.
You're fine. Who do we have?
We have position 9, Mr. Guest.
And I have down that this is conflict attorney. Is this Ms. McLeod's case?
This was sent over to Ms. McLeod.
Good morning, Ms. McLeod. Position number 9, is this your case this morning?
Just a moment, Your Honor. Brandon Guess?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor, but I haven't spoken with him yet.
Okay, can we get courtroom 2? Can we have Ms. McLeod speak with Mr. Guest?
Yeah, she can call.
Okay, if you'll call the courtroom 2, Ms. McLeod.
I need the number.
I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, and while that's occurring, can we go to someone else?
Yeah, please, let me step up. Yeah, position number 1, Mr. Write-offs.
And this is going to be an arraignment.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Broadnax. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Sure.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Broadnax. You've been charged in case 23 CR 004922E with criminal trespass. This charge carries with it a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and/or $1,000 fine. Do you waive formal reading of the accusation, Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead, Mr. Broadnax? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
It was my understanding that you were going to plead not guilty this morning, Mr. Broadnax. If you want to talk to Ms. Adams about that, I'm happy to give you that opportunity to speak with her.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and plead not guilty. I'm not guilty.
Okay, we'll record your not guilty plea. Your case will be returned to the division judge and you'll get notification of your next hearing date. Ms. Tyson, is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. Let's see, Mr. Broadnax, he has 5 arrest cycles out of Georgia beginning in 2021. Looks like he has a possible open case out of Gwinnett County. It's for a misdemeanor theft by taking. He has 2 violations. Let's see, 1 FTA from this year out of Gwinnett County. And it looks like his last arrest was June 11th of 2023 in Gwinnett County, and that was for a violation of probation. The GCIC indicates that he has a hold for Lafayette, Georgia. It looks like it's for a failure to appear, driving without a license. Warrant was signed August of 2021. He has 3 arrest cycles out of Indiana. He has 1 FTA from 2014. And it looks like there's a felony conviction in 2013 for theft by receiving stolen property. Looks like he has 7 arrest cycles out of Illinois, with the first being in 2010. And the last arrest in Illinois was July of 2020. No driver's license, permit, criminal trespass to vehicles. And the disposition just states that it was directly filed with court. Nothing else was listed for the disposition. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
What's his current bond, Ms. Nemini?
1,000 surety, Your Honor.
Okay. And what are the facts?
This happened August 11th at 925 Canterbury Road. Officers received a call from the maintenance worker that several unauthorized individuals were squatting inside a vacant apartment. When officers were able to gain an entry, they saw the defendant inside the unit, unit 101, but most times he's been in unit 1245. Defendant has been given criminal trespass 8 days prior to this arrest under the APD case 2321511151. The state believes that 1,000 surety bond is more than reasonable considering the open case out of Gwinnett and the criminal history of the defendant, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Adams, I'm going to release him to that hold. I'll change the good bond to a signature bond through the jail with all the conditions that are on the present bond, which I
Yes, sir.
imagine are stay away and a no drugs, alcohol, weapons.
Yes,
Mr.
Your Honor.
Broadnax, I'm going to give you the opportunity to get out, but if you don't come back to answer for these charges in the future, they're going to put a warrant out for you and you're going to be right back where you are. So, but I'm going to let you out so that you can go handle your other business, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. Broadnax.
Thank you.
Your Honor, on his booking screen, the hole is not on the booking screen. It's just on the GCIC, but he doesn't have a hole at the jail on his booking screen.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Tyson.
Hmm.
Who do we have next?
Position 15, Mr. Rooks.
Also an arraignment.
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Good morning, Mr. Rooks. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Mr. Rooks, you've been charged in case 23 CR 004894E with simple battery family violence. This charge carries with it a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and or $1,000 fine. Do you waive formal reading of the accusation, Mr. McLean?
We do.
How do you plead, Mr. Rooks? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
We will record your not guilty plea. Your case will be returned to the division judge and you'll get notification of your next hearing date. Is there a history, Ms. Tyson?
Yes, one moment.
Your Honor, there is a history, but this defendant, I believe, has some MH things at play. I see his family, I believe Kirby Brooks may be here for him. I was actually gonna ask for a breakout so we could discuss the best resolution for Mr. Brooks.
Okay. Is there anyone on the line that is here in the Rooks matter that wishes to address the court?
Yes, I am his dad.
Okay, Mr. Kirby Rooks. If you can place us into a breakout room with myself, Mr. Walker, Mr. McLean, and Mr. Rooks, please.
Okay, Judge.
Okay, so it's the court's understanding that Mr. Rooks is going to be seen at 10 o'clock by another court. So as for the bond that's in place at the present time, Mr. McLean, it will stay in place pending that other court's him being in front of the other court. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Rooks.
Your Honor, position number 3, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Cortez Johnson.
Okay, and this is going to be a negotiated plea.
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Johnson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Ms. Nimini?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting time served for 19 days. That's it, Your Honor.
Ms. Adams?
We just ask the court to accept the negotiated plea.
Mr. Johnson, it's my understanding that in case 23 CR 004887J, you wish to plead guilty to giving false information to law enforcement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Yes, sir.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge, and that by pleading guilty to it, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
I'll accept the plea as negotiated. Good luck to you, Mr. Johnson. Who do we have next?
Can we do position number 13, Reed?
And this is going to be a negotiated plea.
Say 13, yes, Your Honor, it is, number 13, right.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Reed. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You can put your hand down. Let's see, who's presenting for the state?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is going to be 12 months to serve, 32 days, credit for time served, 16 days, balance probated with the conditions of an alcohol and drug evaluation with any necessary treatment, and a stay away from the incident location, which is 4185 Park Brook Drive in Alpharetta.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, I think I mentioned to my client in the visitation booth, I may have used the word class instead of evaluation. And I want to make sure that he understands an evaluation is where you talk to an evaluator. You have to find the evaluator on your own. It is a one session thing. And if there's recommended treatment, you get the treatment, it's required. If there's not a recommendation of treatment, then the evaluation is the end of it. Normally that can be found for free for this type of thing if you're already in services, and it can be found for about $90 at AACS, and we've got a link for that. So I wanted to make crystal clear. I just wanted to make sure you understood what an ADET is, because I think I used the word class instead of evaluation yesterday when I spoke to you. Are you good with this plea? Is this what you want to do? He's on mute. There we go.
Yeah. Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Reed, go ahead, Ms. McLean.
No, that's he asked the court to accept his negotiated plea of guilty while he stipulates the venue identification and factual basis.
Mr. Reed, it's my understanding that in case 23 CR 001136D, you wish to plead guilty to willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer and possession and use of drug-related objects. Is that correct? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Reed? Okay. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have a right to a trial by jury on these charges and that by pleading guilty to them, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll accept the plea as negotiated, Mr. Reed. When you complete the terms of the probation, meaning that you do the ADET, I am going to have the probation terminate. So as soon as you get that done, the sooner you won't be on probation, okay?
Right. Thank you, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Reed.
Now back to Mr. Guest, position number 9.
Okay, let's see. Ms. McLeod, are you with us?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
What are we doing with Mr. Guest this morning?
He is going to be accepting the state's plea offer, Your Honor.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Guest. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? You're on mute, courtroom 2.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, Mr. Guest. Ms. Nimini?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is requesting 12 months probation, 30 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance prorated, 6 weeks of anger management, 40 hours of community service, no further contact with the victim, Miss Alexandria Johnson, and to stay away from 5023 Upper Elm Street, Atlanta, Georgia.
Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor, that is our understanding of the offer. And we would like to request if Mr. Guest's probation could be terminated once he's completed the anger management and the community service.
Okay. Mr. Guest, it's my understanding that in case 23 CR 004918C, you wish to plead guilty to simple battery. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol this morning?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with her representation?
I am, sir.
You understand that you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge and that by pleading guilty to it, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
I understand, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll accept the plea as negotiated, Mr. Guest. As soon as you complete the 6 weeks of anger management and the community service, I'll have the probation terminate. So the sooner you do that, the sooner you won't be on probation, okay?
Roger that, sir.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Guest.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor.
Probation 3 and 4, Holt.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Holt. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the probation revocation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sir?
Yes, we're doing this by video. Is that all right with you, Mr. Holt?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Good morning, Officer Harris.
Good morning, Your Honor. How you doing?
I'm doing well. And let's see, before we get going, who's representing Mr. Holt?
Your Honor, I'll take Mr. Holt's case, but I did not receive an updated calendar until this morning. So if I could just have an opportunity to speak with him, I can call.
There's no phone for you to call. You're gonna have to do a breakout.
That's fine.
Okay, so can we put 4 North and Ms. Adams into a breakout room? We'll be with you, Officer Harris, as soon as they get back. Is there one of Mr. McLean's cases that we can go to in courtroom 2? Or
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Harris, can you please send me Mr. Holt's petition? Because I didn't receive them.
I sent that the other day to you and Mr. McClain.
I have all the petitions except for his.
I sent you Mr. Holt, but I'll send it again.
Please, thank you.
Okay, so let's see, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Position number, I believe 6, Mr. Dickerson.
And this is going to be a negotiated plea, Mr. McLean?
Did they say 6? That would be Miss Adams too. Do they have one in the range from 10 to 19? Is anybody available from position 10 to position 19? Because Ms. Adams had prior to 10.
I got, the other one. Mr. Robinson, I'm waiting on him.
And Judge, good morning. This is Rose Woodbury. I have a bond motion for position 8, Nelson Graves.
You like, do that, Mr. Nelson Burns?
And this is Mr. Graves, is that right?
Correct.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Graves. And Ms. Woodbury, Mr. Graves, does he need to be arraigned also?
No, Judge, I believe he was already, there was a waiver of arraignment from August 1st.
Okay. And what was the current bond?
The current bond is a $5,000 surety, Your Honor. It was set by this court on August 1st. Mr. Graves was arrested on July 9th, so he's been in custody for 47 days now, and this misdemeanor case is the only thing holding him. So we're asking the court to consider reducing the bond to a signature bond. He's not sure if he can post any bond. Judge, just a little background on him. So he's 51. He's originally from Houston, but he's been in Georgia for the last 4 years. He last worked for Weiler Forestry out of LaGrange as a welder. His trades are truck driving and welding. He does attend a church. I don't know if I have the name correct. I think it's Congregation Bethel out of Roswell. He does Bible study there. He tells me if he's released, he will either go to a shelter or he has people at the church that might be able to connect him with housing. So we would just ask the court to consider reducing the bond. He is coming up for a trial date on September 18th. But obviously it would be much easier for him to fight the case from the outside.
And just so that everyone knows, Ms. Lewis has told me that I did modify this bond. So apparently the bond was higher than what I reduced it to on August 1st. So what's the history?
Oh, and Judge, sorry, I can just say one more thing about this. There was originally an aggravated battery charge, but the DA's office declined to prosecute on that.
Okay,
So
thank
it
you.
was transferred to state court, and that's when you modified the bond.
Okay. Yes, Ms. Tyson?
Mr. Graves, looks like he has one arrest out of Georgia, one additional arrest out of Georgia. It was February 2020 out of Gwinnett County. It's for aggravated assault. It says the case was indicted June of 2020. No other disposition is listed for that case. There's one cycle out of Texas, and it looks like it says deportable, portable arrest, and that was in 2014. He has 2 cycles out of Washington. One of those cycles resulted in a felony conviction. That was in 2011 for assault. And his last arrest was in 2011 for his community custody violation. Does have a history out of Texas. One moment. He has 5 cycles out of Texas. Last arrest was in 2018, April 2018. It says interference with duties of a public servant. That case was dismissed April of 2018. I'm sorry, April 2018. He does have a felony conviction for, let's see, ag assault with a deadly weapon. Looks like a disposition March of 2018. And he had a misdemeanor conviction for assault causing bodily injury. That was in 2008. And he has a history out of Louisiana, looks like 2 cycles. Last cycle was in 2003, so nothing any 2003 for Louisiana. Nothing to add, Your Honor.
Thank you. What are the facts of this case, Ms. Nimini?
Yes, so the incident happened at 575 Holcomb Bridge Road at a La Quinta. The officers arrived at the scene and they talked with Ms. Chrissy Graves, which is the victim and the wife of a defendant. They've been married for 17 years. She advised officers that they had gotten into a verbal dispute about infidelity. She was calling her husband and he wasn't answering. Once her husband came from church, which he's an avid goer of, after not responding from her phone call, they got into an argument that turned physical. He punched her in the right eye with a closed fist, leaving a swollen right eye. And then he heckled her and said, call the cops and take me to jail. After the incident, when the officers arrived at that location, the defendant was not there. So they went to the marital home and spoke with Mr. Graves. And he did tell them that they did get into a marital argument about him not caring about her, but he did not punch his wife. And did not know where her injuries came from, but he insists that she slapped him, but there were no visible injuries observed. Considering the defendant has convictions with aggravated assault, battery, an open case in Gwinnett County, the state believes that 5,000 is more than reasonable, considering you set the bond, Your Honor.
Thank you. Anything further, Ms. Woodbury?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I do think that the bond that I've originally set, based on the history, was adequate. So I'm going to leave the bond where it is. Good luck to you, Mr. Graves.
Thank you for your consideration, Judge, and that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
So can we go back to the probation case?
Yes, we're ready, Judge.
Okay. Yes, Officer Harris.
Your Honor, Mr. Holt was sentenced to probation on October 25th, 2022 to 12 months to complete a shoplifting course. As of today, Mr. Holt has not reported or completed the class. He has 87 days on probation. Probation recommendation is credit for time served and to close it.
Okay, no objection to that, Ms. Adams.
No objection.
Good luck to you, Mr. Holt. I'll accept the probation's recommendation. Time served.
Yes, sir. Can I ask you one question, please?
You could ask Ms. Adams if you like.
It's about our position 3 and 4. Do that mean something?
I'm not understanding his question, Ms. Adams, but
That's just where your name is on the calendar. That's it.
Oh, 3 and 4. Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
madam. Thank you.
who do we have next?
Mr. Wright, position number 19. No.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Stephen Shelton. He is position, I believe 3 on the probation calendar.
Where is Stephen Shelton?
He's
Okay, he's at Ford North. Okay, do we want to go to Ford North?
Okay,
Okay. Yes, good morning, Mr. Shelton. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the probation revocation calendar. Do you agree to have we're doing this by video. Is that okay with you? Can you hear me, Mr. Can you hear
Just a
me?
little bit.
Okay, we're doing this by video. Is that okay with you?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Officer Harris?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a case back from 2025 from Mr. Shelton. We just want to, he had to do domestic violence classes. Probation recommendation just to give him credit for time served and to close the case.
Any objection, Ms. Adams?
No, Your Honor, there is no objection, but Mr. Shelton was on the calendar earlier this week with regards to bond. And defense requested a signature bond for him, and Your Honor provided that you would be willing to revisit it after his probation hearing, because this probation was actually one of the reasons why he's still there. He had a hold.
Okay, so there's, let me just get through with the probation case first.
Yes.
So I will give, I'll accept probation's recommendation of time served on that 2015 case. And is he on the regular calendar?
He was on the regular calendar, Your Honor. He had not been reset because we wanted to see what was going to happen with today first.
Okay, well, Mr. Walker?
I mean, he's now on today's calendar, so I don't.
So why don't we, okay, I'm willing to reconsider it, Ms. Adams, but he's not on today's calendar, and I'm happy to put him on, I am on the SAP calendar on next Tuesday. I'm happy to put him on that calendar to reconsider that bond, if you'd like me to do that.
Yes, please, Your Honor.
Okay, so if we can put him on next Tuesday's SAP calendar.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. We'll see you back next Tuesday, Mr. Shelton.
Thank you.
Who do we have in courtroom 2?
Position number 19, Mr. Your Honor, Mr. Wright.
Okay. And who's representing Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Probably Mr. McLean.
Ms. McLean, are you with us?
Your Honor, just to make the court aware, this is going to be another case. We're going to ask for a breakout due to MH. And I believe the defendant's mother is on the line, Carlitha Wright.
Mr. McLean.
I'm sorry, I'm on mute. I had to step away to get a phone number for somebody. Your Honor, what position is this?
Position 19, Mr. Wright. Have you had the opportunity to speak with him?
No, Your Honor, he was, quote, lost, unquote. So they could not locate him in the jail. And I was hoping our staff could find him better than the 2 South staff could find him.
Okay, so just so you're up to speed, Mr. Walker's requesting a breakout room with Mr. Wright, but since you have not spoken with him, I would imagine that you want to speak with him first.
Yes, Your Honor, if I could have a breakout with them quickly, and then we could all join together, perhaps.
And Mr. Wright is in courtroom 2. Can you call and talk to him?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Number's in the chat if you need it.
Say it again.
The number is in the chat if you need it.
Oh, okay.
It's 22392.
Okay, so is there someone else we can go to while Mr. McLean speaks with his client?
Mr. Coleman. Position number 2.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready.
Okay. That's going to be an arraignment. And Mr. Coleman, good morning. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. Good morning, sir. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down, Mr. Coleman. You've been charged in case 23 CR 005071A with criminal trespass. This charge carries with it a maximum penalty of 12 months in jail and or $1,000 fine. Do you waive formal reading of the accusation, Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead, Mr. Coleman? Guilty or not guilty? We will record your not guilty plea. Your case will be returned to the division judge and you'll get notification of your next hearing date. Let's see, what's the current bond and is there a history, Ms. Tyson?
Yes, there is a history. Defendant has 6 arrest cycles, began 2018. There's a misdemeanor conviction out of Fulton County for criminal trespass. Disposition date on that is December of 2019. There's another misdemeanor case. Is out at East Point. He was arrested March of 2023 for criminal trespass. There's no disposition listed on that case, Your Honor. Yes, nothing to add, Your Honor.
Okay. What's the current bond?
1,000, Your Honor.
Okay. And what are the facts, Ms. Nimini?
Officers received a call from the Polaris apartment leasing manager who advised that someone was squatting inside of an empty apartment unit. Officers entered the unit and observed the defendant sleeping inside the unit. When they asked him why he was in there, defendant claims that it was raining. He was tired and needed somewhere to sleep. The officers observed broken glass inside of the unit from a window breaking, which is how he got access to the unit. Considering that I have 2 convictions for criminal trespass in 2019 out of Fulton, and then an open case for criminal trespass. The state believes that the 1,000 shorty is more than reasonable, Your Honor.
Does he have a place to reside, Ms. Adams?
That is actually the issue, Your Honor. He is residentially challenged. However, Mr. Coleman has actually been in the process of getting into a program that's supposed to find him housing. That location is 201 Washington Street, which is where he can go sleep, rest his head, if the court allows for him to get out. The purpose of this program is also I can't remember the name of it, but the purpose of the program is to also help him find employment as well. And so with regards to that, Your Honor, in addition to that, rather, Mr. Coleman also has his GED. He does general labor and things of that nature, but his goal is to, become gainfully employed and not have to live on the street anymore. But that's with the help of this program.
Okay, so I'm going to convert the surety bond to a signature bond, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the 3072 Washington Road address and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. I'm going to let you out, Mr. Coleman, but you're going to have to make sure that you come back at a later time and answer for the charges. Otherwise, they're going to put a warrant out for you, okay? All right, good luck to you, Mr. Coleman.
Y'all, position number 1 and 2, Mr. Hall.
Okay, this is on the probation calendar. Yes, good morning, Mr. Hall. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the probation revocation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. And who's representing Mr. Hall?
And you come over.
Mr. McLean? So is Mr. McLean still on the phone? With courtroom 2? Okay, so can we go to someone else?
Mr. Dickerson, I believe.
Is this your case, Ms. Adams?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. Position number 6 on the meeting calendar. This
It's
is
gonna be
negotiated.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Dickerson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state all-purpose calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me? Swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, Mr. Dickerson. Yes.
Yes, Your Honor, the state is requesting 12 months, 32 days credit for time served, 16 days. Balance suspended, stay away from 435 West Peachtree Street, Northwest, Atlanta and Marta properties.
Ms. Adams?
Defense requested that court accept the negotiated plea.
Mr. Dickerson, it's my understanding that in case 23 CR 004892E, you wish to plead guilty to criminal trespass. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at the present time?
No, sir.
You've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Yes, sir, but if I may have a second to bring something to our attention, we just spoke about. I actually bring my violation of probation to the attention of the court, so hopefully I can get. I'm sorry.
Mr. Dickerson, I'm aware and I'm taking care of it, but right now we're just handling your plea, okay?
I'm sorry, I just didn't want us to move too fast and forget about anything, that's all.
I understand.
Okay, so let's see, Mr. Dickerson, I think that I was, you've been represented by counsel. Are you satisfied with her representation?
Yes, sir.
You understand you have a right to a trial by jury on this charge, and that by pleading guilty to it, you're giving up your right to a trial by jury?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone forced or coerced you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
I'll accept the plea as negotiated. And let's see, I'm gonna have him abide by any MARTA stay away. So I'm not gonna ban him. If MARTA has banned him, then I banned him. But if he doesn't have any active suspensions, then I'm gonna allow him to go back. So, but he has to abide by any active suspensions of MARTA. Okay, Mr. Dickerson?
Your Honor, he has a permanent suspension that was issued February 2023.
Okay, well, then you can't go back to MARTA, Mr. Dickerson. All right, good luck to you, sir. Are you gonna call him at a later time, Ms. Adams, to address his concern about the probation?
We already spoke about it, Your Honor. He just wanted me to bring it to the court's attention, but I'm already on top of it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hall, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Mr. Hall, for probation 1 and 2.
Anybody else hear that? I did not hear that. I'm sorry.
Mr. Hall, position 1 and 2 for probation.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. So is Mr. McLean off the phone?
I'm off the phone, Your Honor. Position number 1 and 2 on the regular calendar.
This is on the probation revocation calendar, Mr. McLean.
Oh, Hall. I understand Hall, Hall. Yes, that's
Okay.
ready, Your Honor.
All right.
That's Mr. Boris Hall.
Yes, good morning again, Mr. Hall. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the probation revocation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
No.
Was that a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Officer Harris.
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Hall was sentenced to probation on September 20th of 2022 to 12 months to complete the 24 domestic violence classes. He has not reported to our office or completed the classes. He also picked up 2 charges on July the 25th of this year of aggravated assault and battery. He has 47 days remaining on his case. Probation recommendation is to revoke the remaining balance.
Mr. McLean.
2 points, Your Honor. One is that apparently Now, this may have been our office's mistake in filling out paperwork, but in the plea paperwork that created this probation, the underlying case of this probation, the plea statement was completely blank as to recommendation. Other than that, it was filled out, but I was scratching my head trying to figure out whether that was a defect, which was so large that I could ask the court to start his probation over again and give him another chance. He was sentenced to do a FVIP. And of course, with 47 days left, it's impossible to do that now. And it's impossible for me to ask the court to give him another chance so he can do the FVIP. But if we were to look at that other matter as a defect and start his probation over, he'd be willing to give it a shot. Sure would. Now, in the meantime, he's in jail, and I'm not sure how many days he's going to be in jail.
I'd be inclined, Mr. McLean, since he's apparently has other charges that he's in jail for. He's got 47 days left on these charges. He gets 2 for 1. I would be inclined to revoke the balance of it and let him deal with his other matters.
That works as well, Your Honor. That is another solution I think does also work for him.
Okay, so I'm going to revoke the balance of 47 days, and then he'll be done with this matter. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Hall.
Next is position 7, Garrett.
That concludes my business, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good rest of your day, Officer Herrick. We'll see you next time. Thank you. And this is Mr. Garrett, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr.
Yes,
Garrett.
Your Honor, I requested a breakout room for Mr. Garrett's case.
Okay, let's see. Ms. McLeod, Ms. Nimini, Mr. Walker, I imagine.
That's fine.
And myself, if you can put us into a breakout room, please.
Okay.
Miss Lewis, are you here? Maybe she went to the breakout space. If anybody has the ability, I have somebody by the name of Tashana King trying to get into the Zoom. She is waiting in the waiting room. And she is for oh, there she is. Thank you. I see you, Miss King.
Thank you.
Is there a Robin Brown on the session? Ms. Brown, if you are, can you please turn your video on? Is there a Robin Brown? The mother of Keith Garrett.
Okay, let's see. We are going to come back to Mr. Garrett's case. Is there somebody else that we can take in the meantime?
Yes, Your Honor. Position number 1, Mr. Derek Richmond.
That's on the add-on calendar, Your Honor. That's gonna be a null process on position 1 and 2.
Okay. Mr. Richmond, your cases have been dismissed. Good luck to you, sir. Is there anyone else in courtroom 2 that we can take?
Position number 1114, Mr. Robinson.
And after that, Your Honor, is position 5, Ms. Imani Davis.
Okay.
Your Honor,
So-
on 1114, I just need a breakout with the client briefly. That should be a fairly simple matter. He's being offered suspended sentences on trespasses, so that should be quick, but I do need to run it by him.
Okay, so who do we have in courtroom 2 right now seated there?
That's the one he's talking about.
Okay, so that's Cody Robinson.
It's and he has Mr. Moore Rashad, that's him as well.
Oh, they're the same person, Moore Rashad and Cody
Correct.
Robinson?
They are the same person.
Okay, so you want to call Mr. McLean?
A phone call would be fine.
Okay, so go ahead, call.
I'm gonna would you prefer I call on 91 or 92 courtroom number 2?
The one you just called, we spoke with Mr. Right about one.
Call him on 91. I'll do that.
Okay, and who do we have at ACDC?
Imani Davis, position 5.
Your Honor, before we get started, may we have a very brief breakout room for Miss Imani Davis? There's also somebody on the line. Her name is Tashana King. She is with, the name of the organization she is with is called Women on the Rise. We can have a very brief breakout space for her.
Okay, so let's see. Ms. Adams, Mr. Walker, myself, is this Ms. Nimini's case also?
Yes.
Okay, if you can put us back into the breakout room, please.
And we have a new solicitor observing today, ASG Ferguson. If she can be included as well, Your Honor, please.
Okay.
You said
And-
Ferguson, okay, thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
And did you need Ms. King also, Ms. Adams?
That would be preferable, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, yes, I'm Ms. King.
Very. Good morning. Hold on.
Yes, Ms. Davis, we have had the opportunity to speak on your case. Your attorney is going to file a waiver of arraignment this morning. I am going to modify your surety bond to a good bond, to a signature bond through the jail with the stipulations that you're going to be released to Ms. King and the Women on the Rise program. You will also have to stay away from the incident location and have no further contact with Sonia Lee. Okay, so I'm going to let you sign your own bond and release you to Ms. King. It's my understanding that that will occur next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good luck to you, Ms. Davis.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, thank you, Ms. King.
Your Honor, before you, Mr. Robinson.
No, I ain't got one case. I ain't got one case.
Your Honor, before you, Mr.
Yes.
Robinson.
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty hearing your courtroom too.
Mr. Robinson, position 11 and 14.
Oh, okay. Mr. McLean, am I to refer to him as Mr. Robinson?
Mr. Robinson needs to go to the competency calendar, Your Honor.
Okay.
So that would be 11 and 14.
When is the next competency calendar?
Judge, if he's gonna get an image done, then it's gonna have to be set out for a while. So the next available will not be to, hold on one second.
And are you asking for a mental health evaluation, Mr. McLean?
Well, I'm going to run, if I could get a 5-minute break, I can run down to Mr. Howard's office. I understand he's here. I'm going to hand him his paperwork and ask him if he wants to start the evaluation now.
I'm not understanding you, Mr. McLean. Something's buzzing.
Oh, yeah, my microphone may be a bit messed up here, it says.
I'm sorry to cut in, but is there any way we can hold him? I see Mr. Howard's on the line. We can discuss his cases when we discuss the competency calendar today. Just due to the nature of the charges, I would hate for him to linger another 6 weeks to be placed on the competency calendar.
Right, and I've got this paperwork I can run downstairs. We're both in the same building right now. I can run this down the stairway and hand this to Mr. Howard.
Okay, all right. So can we finish up the SAP calendar? Do we have anyone else ready? So we're gonna come back to Mr. Robinson. So if you can, we can hold on Mr. Robinson. Is there anybody else in courtroom 2 that we can take?
Your Honor, Miss Brown apparently is on the Zoom now, she tells me.
Okay. And Ms. Brown, are you with us? You let Ms. Brown, is Ms. Brown here?
She told me she was in the waiting room and I asked Ms. Lewis to admit her.
Ms. Grace, do you see anybody in the waiting room?
I don't see nobody in the way.
No, ma'am. No, sir. Sorry. No, sir.
Okay.
I don't see nobody.
So I have that, and you, Cortez Wright, position 19. What were we gonna do with Mr. Wright?
It's going to be a breakout.
Mr. Wright is also in a situation of incompetency at the time, Your Honor.
I'm here. I'm Miss Wright, Cortez Wright, mom.
Yeah, we can have a breakout with the victim and his mother and his defense counsel, please.
Yes.
Okay, so if you put Ms. Wright, Mr. McLean, myself, and Mr. Walker to a breakout room. Ms.
Okay.
Nimini, I guess, and do you also want Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
So is Mr. Robinson being reset?
We're gonna hold him to the 11 a.m. calendar. So if he can be held.
Okay.
Judge, did you say Mr. McLean as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please. Okay, so we're gonna hold on Mr. Wright, until the competency calendar. I see that we also have Ms. Brown on, for Keith Garrett.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Brown, Ms. McLeod, about, what we've spoken about?
I have not spoken to her about it yet, Your Honor. I was just trying to help her get on the Zoom.
Okay. Good morning, Ms.
I'm sorry, Ms. McLeod, read the chat. This is courtroom two. Officer Blunt.
Okay. It's the same that they took my client back, Your Honor, because he was a bit unwell.
Okay.
Was that Mr. Garrett that took that?
Yes.
Oh,
And I think our question for Ms. Brown was, if I'm remembering correctly, is if she would accept placement and when, because she's out of state, she could come get him.
correct.
Are you on with us, Ms. Brown?
She's our judge, however, her mic is not connected.
Mr. Howard, are you there?
Ms. Brown?
She's there, but her mic is not connected. So she probably just logged off just now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna leave her for a moment. If she comes back on, if someone will let me know. Mr. Howard, we have a couple of people on this morning's SAP calendar that we'd like to discuss in the competency calendar, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
So can we go, and I believe that we're done with the SAP calendar, so can we all go into a breakout room on the competency calendar? And the first one that I would like to address, and if you can put us in the room, put her in the room with us, would be for Mr. Cortez Wright, who is position number 19, and that would be Miss Carlethia Wright.
Okay, so who all is going in the breakout room for the competency judge?
Who all do we have on now? Mr. Howard, Mr. Walker, myself, Kasha.
We can include pre-trial as well.
Okay.
And Ms. Wright, correct?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Miss Brown, Miss Robin Brown. Miss Brown. Miss Robin Brown, are you on the, Miss Brown? I need for, Miss Brown, can you hear me? We need to get you into the breakout room to discuss your son. There is a button on your screen that says breakout room, join. I need you to click that button to join the breakout room, ma'am. Do you see it? You will probably have to hit option on your phone. Can you hear me, ma'am? Miss Brown, can you hear me?
Oh, Lord.
Ms. McCall, apparently she can't hear me. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, Miss Brown, do you see a blue thing saying to join room? Join breakout room? It should be on your screen, which says join breakout room. No?
I'll put her back out and then try to put her back in and she should go in automatically. Let me try.
Okay. Once she gets in, then you can invite me back in because they're doing the competency calendar.
Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod,
Yes, I'm here.
put yourself back in the breakout room. You should be able to go back in there. You should be able to scroll down an option and it should say breakout room. Go back in the breakout room
Look at options. Okay, let's see, where is that?
or more. I don't know.
Oh, breakout room. I see. Join breakout room. Okay.
Good morning. Is the SAP still going on?
I thought that it was. I thought that there were one or two more cases that were left, but
They in the breakout room.
they've been in the breakout room. Oh, there's
No,
no complaint.
No, I just want to make sure, so I won't, I'm sitting in total size busy, so just want to make sure.
Oh, no, they still in breakout. They'll be out in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, the breakout room is the competency calendar.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Mr. McLean, you know our usual, so I'm waiting on it, 17.
Number 13 and number 16 I've got, and number 17, is that Matthew Reed?
No,
Matthew.
no. Mr. McLean, you talking about the calendar for the contact for the 17th.
Oh, I'll get that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I get this bond modification in, I'll get those to you.
Okay.
For the 17th, gotcha.
Yep, all right, appreciate it.
We're in the office today. The last few days, I'm sorry, have been a little bit crazy with what's going on in that parking lot in that jail.
Yeah, I believe it.
Not the parking lot itself so much as just, we were doing interviews yesterday, and at one point, the deputy said, we're cutting you off. we're just gonna do a lockdown now.
Oh, well, it's a good thing y'all don't have to go today then, I guess.
Well, it's a good thing I'd seen every single person except for two, and one of them was lost anyway. So when they lose them, and our court staff can find them.
Yeah, and they told me not to come. They told me yesterday we should not come to the jail today.
Wow. They just need to close the courthouse today too then.
Yeah. So so is the recording stopped while we're in this break?
No. It still say live.
Okay, we're still live, so we won't say anything about the parking lot then. All
No
right.
problem.
All righty. See y'all later. I'll just stay on videoless.
Okay, let's see. I think we've addressed everyone. I think we need to go over the SAP calendar from this morning if everyone's ready to do that. Whenever you're ready, Ms. Lewis.
Okay. Start with the revocation calendar, position 1 and 2. The defendant probation was balance was revoked. Position 3 and 4 was commuted to time served, along with 5 was commuted to time served. The add-on calendar, position 1 and 2 on the add-on is null pros. Position number 3 was a plea on the add-on calendar. On original calendar, position 1, defendant was arraigned, not guilty, case is reset further notice for trial. The person received $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 2, defendant was arraigned, not guilty, case is reset further notice for trial. The bond was modified to $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 3 was a plea. Position number 4 was a plea. Position number 5, waiver arraignment will be filed, not guilty. Bond modification of SOB through the jail, $1,000. Position number 6 was a plea. Position number 7 is reset for SAP the 31st. Is that correct? Yeah, until we get further information on the SAP, or y'all want a competency calendar for number 7? I forgot. That was.
Let's put it on the competency calendar.
Okay. So position number 7 is going to reset for the competency calendar on the 31st. Position number 8, the bond was denied. The case is returned to the original judge for trial, further notice. Position number 9 was a plea. Position number 10 is reset for the SAP calendar for August. Lord Jesus, help me today. SAP August the 31st. Position number 11, I do not have an announcement.
11 and 14 are going competency.
And I'm assuming I'm gonna get an eval.
I'm gonna ask Mr. Howard if he's gonna file one because he's having the social work talk to her, talk to him.
So we'll set that out for September the 7th.
Okay.
Position number 12, defendant was released, case is reset further notice. Position 13 was a plea. Position 14 gonna be the same announcement, September the 7th, competency calendar. Position number 15, I don't know, I guess we can reset it to the SAP or the competency calendar for August the 31st, because he was in MCC court today. I don't know what happened. It looked like they're still doing more research on him. So that's gonna be
Gregory Rooks, number 15, I thought was already on a 10 o'clock mental health calendar, and that's why
it was. I saw a note that came through. They're still considering him. They got to do some more research on him. So I'll just put him back on the competency calendar for August the 31st.
Excuse me, Ms. Lewis, I was just informed that he will be in the MMC program.
Okay, well, they'll make their adjustments then. I'm pretty sure he'll be back on the calendar for the competency calendar for, the mental health court for the 31st, next Thursday. And they'll probably set him and readjust his bond once they get the plan together.
Ms. Lewis, the judge doesn't want him on the competency calendar. She just wants him strictly in the program.
Okay, so he's reset further notice MCC. No problem. Thank you. Position number 16 was a plea. Position number 17 is reset for the SAP August the 31st. Position number 18, defendant was arraigned not guilty. Case is reset for trial. Further notice, bond was modified to a $2,000 SOB due to jail. Position number 19 is reset to the competency counter for next Thursday, August the 31st. Is that correct? Any questions or changes? Please send all plea paperwork and bond orders to me in a time enough manner, Mr. Walker. I appreciate that. And plea paperwork, Mr. McLean, I appreciate that.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
I'll be
Thank
looking for
you.
your paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.